Welcome back to another episode of Baby Daddies. As you can see, we are not alone this week. We are joined by my favorite woo-woo cast member. We are joined by Aaron from For the Love of Dill Season 2. Aaron, how the hell are you? Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. I'm excited to be here. I'm doing pretty well. I'm in my sister's basement of her place right now because just having some family time. So can't complain. Things are going pretty good.
Nice. Imario, how are you doing
Hey,
today?
love it. I'm doing good. My son, my cat, was acting a little crazy today. He was taking naps all over my keyboard, so I had to keep moving him and repositioning him. And then he just looked at me after I pet him, and then he just took a chunk out of my shoulder. I was like, "Why? Why the bites?" But apparently that means he loves me. So
You have an orange cat, and every day you are surprised that you have an orange cat. That is the thing I will never
That's the thing that's
understand.
funny.
every day it's something new. So who knows what tomorrow will bring? I don't know. Maybe he'll run on the ceiling tomorrow.
Honestly, cats
You're
are
a
quite interesting
learning and
creatures.
growing father. But I told you this before you got the cat. That's an orange
You
cat.
did.
Are you ready for
You
all
said
this? Speaking
fair.
of a lot going on, we have a lot. And when I tell you a lot of ground to cover, we got a lot.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
thought episode 2 was like jam packed. Episode 3 is just as wild. But before we get into it, Aaron, I have to ask you about Stormy's explosion at the end of
Oh,
episode
yeah.
2. I just need to know what were your feelings before she walked out, and that did you know anything was going to happen? Like what was going on with that?
Like, obviously, when someone just quits competition like that, I think, and especially reality TV, I think that is the worst thing to do because I'm just like, you signed up for this. So obviously, she was pissed off and we didn't see her. And then her coming out with that energy, you can tell Stormy right away when she walks in the room. If she's mad, you do not want her to be looking at you. You want her to be looking at the complete opposite direction of you because she will cut a bitch and she's terrifying, but the loveliest lady. But I was scared.
Yeah, she's got a strength about her. When she said
It's
put the
that
fucking
stepmom.
paintings down.
Oh, 100%. I was
It's
like,
that stepmom energy. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
stepmom
those daddies in their
energy.
place.
Yes, I'm glad. Like everyone on the other side, you could tell all the himbos were like,
Yeah, I was like, I love you on that. This ain't my fault. This is their night, not mine.
oh god. Well, complete opposite from that. She starts off this episode being the lovely, gorgeous, beautiful, and kind woman that we are all knowing. She starts off entering with a new himbo. Hazel walks out. He's 22. This boy is young. He's from Pennsylvania. Got a nice nose ring. Blondish, gingerish hair, reddish, strawberry blonde, I believe is the correct term. I don't know. Stormy's vibing by the fountain yet again. Instead of, I will not get over
Yeah,
this.
again, she'll always be there.
That fountain. I'm like, well, you got the whole bay in the back. There,
Yeah.
all this gorgeous scenery. She said, no, just put me
No.
by the fountain.
The
Put me by
fountain.
the fountain.
She likes the people driving by.
Thoughts on Hazel?
Great. Hazel's a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. Walked in, I was like, oh, it's a younger, gayer version of me.
It's like a Pokemon evolution.
This is gonna be an interesting day. No, but seriously, like right off the bat, if we kind of notice, might see one of the clips as well, like Hazel like is standing beside me, and we right away were like this. And we have similar. I've got a very Christian past as well. Like
Yeah.
I was supposed to be applying to Bible college to be a pastor at 18 before I came out. So we had a lot of things to talk about on our own time too. And Hazel's just a sweetheart.
Gotcha. I was actually wondering about that because you were talking about the spirituality kind of in like the first 2 episodes and how you and Kane got along on that. So I was kind of wondering about your spirituality because
Yeah, so
I
I'm
consider
kind of
myself a
more
little woo-woo too.
Yeah, I'm big old hippie now and stuff. And like I have my tarot cards, I do all that. My sister actually runs a full
Hey.
astrology business, has an astrology podcast. Yeah, right on that. Right on that level. That is me to a T, 150%. It's kind of where I went the opposite of when I was Christian and Christianity and just kind of flipped a switch and went the more realistic way.
Yeah. You find a way to still access the spiritual
Yeah.
self without all like
Without all that
the
ratchet
damnation.
commitment. Yeah, we don't want to do that.
yeah. Yeah, I like Hazel. He seems very soft spoken, which doesn't surprise me. He like said in his opening thing that he like gets nervous around pretty people, around people in general, and you can kind of tell like it's just like a young
I
kid.
can see
He's
it.
like he got very like Bambi energy, you know?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Very
Like
that.
little deer running around.
Yeah,
Makes
he's
sense.
adorable. We move on to this little confrontation between you and Nick.
Ooh, mama, it was
She got
heated.
heated.
Yeah,
The sweat was real. It wasn't just the Florida heat that was all heated there. It was a lot more than that.
When he said that he was like, I just blew up. I just felt like I was being attacked.
I literally wrote here in my notes. I was like, Nick is feeling very attacked right now.
Very attacked. Yes. This is his Lagrange moment.
That's like a bitch. It's like, I don't think I'm not going to be smart with my words, and I'll come at you how I'm supposed to. Don't think that I'm an idiot just because of these things. I will say it how it is, and I will always say how I feel. And that's something that I'm like in my own day-to-day life, and something that I'm like there. You know, when I watched that scene and stuff, I was with some of my friends, and all of them were like, "Oh, you're mad! Like you are not faking it. You are legit annoyed and pissed off right now." And I was like, "Yeah, I was. I'll always say it how it is." So sadly, I got a lot of screen time in that one.
You know, but I appreciate that you stood your ground on this, especially when he was like, "My daddy, my daddy, my daddy." You're like, you have known this man. He's not your daddy. We are here to experience things. I like that you're leaning into the experience almost more than I think anybody else. You're like the most readily available to meet other people, talk to other people, really try to play the field. That's what I thought we were doing.
I thought that's what I signed up for. I signed up for a dating show where you're supposed to have the opportunity to meet other people. I didn't sign up for like a version of Love is Blind. Like I said, love at first sight, how I said in my confessional. It's like, that's not what I signed up for. And I wouldn't have signed up for that. So that's why right off the bat, I was like, why am I getting the heat and why am I getting shit just because I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing?
I think like, honestly, if there were more opportunities where like they didn't get to choose dates, I think if they had just, you're with this person, let's see what happens.
Oh, yeah. There's some people in the house I barely got to talk to. There's some people in the house, like even behind the scenes, like I did like some of the daddy stuff, I don't remember having one conversation with at first, you know? So it's like, that shouldn't really be a thing. Like, I get it if you've got an amazing connection, like some people on the show, but like, if you don't, and you're just like, this is just what I'm with. No, like, that's not what we're here to do.
Like, how dare you date on a dating show?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like, why was I getting shit? I was like, I'm sorry, the real world, you're sleeping with someone every other day, half of you. So, like,
clock that T.
Let him know, Imario, that's to you, girl.
I know what West Hollywood is like.
Miss Popular over here.
Like. We saw the real. You said you got many boyfriends.
Exactly. Right. So it was very interesting to just have to deal with that. And it did get really heated. And like, those were real things. And I laughed. The reason why I was laughing so much in that fight as well is you don't really notice it. But it's like when Nick goes and says, there's the door, bitch, or whatever. They don't have it on the scene part there. But I was like, we're outside. What door are you talking about? We're outside, you idiot. And then he walked off. So I'm like, no, like, I don't want to deal with dumb bitches. I love the guy, truthfully do. But I was like, we're not having this fight.
Yeah. And then he calls you a daddy hopper. Now here's my question to you. Are you still a daddy hopper? And if so, do you wear it with a badge of honor?
I do what I want to, and that's what matters. No, I'm not a daddy hopper. I take someone on one damn date, honey. Like, I'm not a daddy hopper, but I will use the tagline and I will put it on a hat for sure, and that's gonna come out eventually.
As you should. I
like the tagline. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if I can't buy a t-shirt that has like a lily pad that says daddy hopper on it.
Exactly. Don't worry, it's already in the works.
Yeah, the little frog.
100%.
So good. Next we move on. Daniel and Derek have a little talk. The twins are commiserating about their daddies. They're just so fucking funny.
I love them. I love them to bits.
They're great. But I love that they're talking about like how safe and warm they feel, you know, but then we get the whole Ed being against the twins. Not the twins themselves, but about the idea of a twin. Did you have similar feelings being like, oh my God, there's two of them. Why are they doing this?
Like a little bit, but then like something you don't see, I guess, on screen as well too, is like actually the twins are the two people that I'm closest with in the house. Like we were like this. Yeah. Like there's obviously scenes they didn't use, they're all just positive stuff, but about us that just wasn't there. But like I've been talking, I was right off the get-go with Daniel like this, and then Derek came in and I was like that. I called them my disciples. Like it was KJS and the disciples, and they called me their triplet. Like it was, I love them. So no, I think once I got to know both of them, I was like, oh no, that's just how your relationship works, and kind of how Ed said as well that every sibling's relationship is different, and it's like just because he wouldn't do this with none of them doesn't mean it's something that they won't do.
Yeah. We just gotta get you a little silk press.
Exactly.
Little part silk press.
I know. The hair is growing, so.
And then it also here, he says the beginning stages of a relationship, but he cuts himself off and then goes, oh,
yeah,
or something that builds to it. And I agree with him because I think I've talked about this on my other podcast. Before I started dating my boyfriend, we were like just hanging out for a good 8 months. We were like, oh, dating? What's that? And then all of a sudden, oh, we're together.
We're together. I didn't realize that.
Builds to it. Yeah.
Yeah, very natural growth,
Yeah.
Hazel walks in, meets the other himbos, and Nick is immediately on the defensive. Like, mama, she's threatened. Mm-hmm. There is blood in the water.
Which I don't understand. Because
that's what he's used to.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Maybe this is like trauma from West Hollywood.
That's West Hollywood trauma, sweetheart.
You're right. I'm coming at it very Chicago.
Go home and it's like, I left for a reason.
In my head, I'm like, okay, so what if he's got more abs? This is a twink, mama. You got a little beef to you. Like live it up. Like, I just didn't see it.
But that's because he's scared he gets aged out.
You're right.
He calls himself 30 at this 29, 30. So he's like, oh no, the younger version of what I used to be.
Twink death is imminent.
Hey, when the new Supreme rises.
Yeah. The other one
falls.
Hazel walks in. Sal's like, oh, this is my type. Like young, dumb, full of cum. Like this is what I came on this show for. And then Hazel says, hi, I was from a religious cult. And then immediately I was like, wait, hold up. Were you in Mary's church in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Yeah, exactly. What type of religious cult were you in? Because how did this happen?
That's what my first thought. Well, he said Pennsylvania. So I thought Amish because that's where the Amish are. Oh. But then I figured it was either something like that or Pentecostal or some Mennonite somewhere in that.
I think it's something in there.
Yeah, because I went to school in Philadelphia and we had a couple like ex-religious people from out there in PA and they got trauma.
So, you got trauma. Trust me, I have an ex-religious kid and it's a lot of trauma in there. It ain't cute. So deal with it in different ways you need to.
Mm-hmm.
So then Hazel says he wants to bring Ed on his date and then immediately Derek was just like, oh, my man, excuse you?
My man, Daniel's heated.
Daniel's not, and I was a little nervous for Daniel as well, just because like I want to make sure they're okay too and stuff. And he was just like, you know what? And Daniel said too, he's like, I just gotta trust that what I have with him is gonna work its way out. But like he said, that's the point of the game as well. That's what we talked about after. He was like, if he wants to take him on a date, sure. And if it clicks, then okay, we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. You just gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah, he had a better reaction than Nick did to those type of situations. So.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely.
And because the whole time I was thinking that, I was like, I wonder why Nick didn't respond. I think it's because you weren't new to the house. I think that's probably why.
That's why. That's from the day one. He was like, "Well, we were buddies." Day one, I was like, "It's been a few days, baby. Like, come on." And like, we're just playing the game.
Yeah,
we're trying to do this thing. We're trying to meet people.
Lots of people in here to talk to. Lots of people to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel's talking about Wonder Twin powers activate. Him and Derek are going like connect hands and shoot a beam at Hazel.
100%.
And then we go on to the Hazel and Dr. Ed date. I have written here, was Hazel Amish or Pentecostal? That's where I wrote it. Do we get some more fleshed out stuff from Dr. Ed? Finally, something that isn't a red flag. He talks about his mother. Because
last anyone who would say, hey, I'm controlling. I was like, what?
I was shocked because he's so pretty. He is so pretty. He's like those gorgeous teeth. He's
a nice man.
He seems very nice. But then last episode, I kept wanting to root for him, and they kept giving me red flags. But
like, I don't know. It's like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
you got a red. You're driving a red road at this point.
Exactly.
The red lights.
We got a lot more, personality from him here. You can see how much he is honoring his mother through his doctorate. He's the reason that he does everything that he's doing. And then Hazel talks about his family life and the trauma of being forced to come out, which is, of course, terrifying. And I hope no one ever has to go through it. Because if you have, you know the pain. It's rough.
Been there.
Yeah, and you can see how hurt he is. And he's talking about, he had him kicked out of the house, had to move with an ex, et cetera, et cetera. But then Ed lays down the ground rules. Said, listen, there's someone I'm talking to in the house. I'm kind of feeling them. You were really nice. It's nice to meet you, but best of luck. Which good. This is what I wanted because as you know, I'm Derek and Daniel Stan over here. So I did not want to see either of the boys in trouble.
Nope.
So yeah, this was good.
Totally agree.
Now we move on to one of the favorite games that we've had this season so far, at least personally, the booty game.
Oh God.
Okay.
My mother had to watch that.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Hey, oh my God.
What did she think?
Well, I was wearing a vest that she made. So I was like, guess what, Mom? I came back from reality TV and I wore one of the clothing pieces you made and showed my bare ass. So sorry.
Amen. And I wish more people showed bare ass.
I know.
We need more bare ass in the world.
I was like, come on, people.
Yeah. And not just bare ass.
No.
Oh my God.
Boom.
I'll do it. So Stormy talks about the big old hole in her ass. And I was like, you know what, Stormy, we've all been gaped before. It's just a part of life, you know?
And she says she gonna gape Dr. Dilf right back.
Yeah, she did. She was pissed. She's like, what the hell is this?
For revenge, as Dr. Dilf said. I had to write that down because that was so good.
100%.
Jimmy talked about his sunburned ass and how it came out one time.
White, yeah. You're blinded if you see that.
It's so funny because in the confessionals, you can see he's sunburned. So as he's talking, like, he's not bullshitting. Like, he's not lying.
He did not go outside.
Poor man.
Stayed inside at all times.
So Keith comes out first, and honestly, I wrote Keith's got that bubble.
Bitch, I thought he was about to spread hole. I was scared.
Yeah, I thought so too. No, because he forgot when he bent over. He forgot, and he was like, "Crap! I forgot that like the angle, like my booty hole might be out." I was like, "Yeah, your booty hole definitely out there somewhere."
It was close. because that angle really. I was like, "Oh my God!" I mean, great ass, perfect ass,
absolutely great ass.
Yeah, I was scared for her a little bit.
I said, Nick had a cute butt. I never noticed the bead on the back of his neck. Whenever Storm was going over like the tattoo things, you have to guess like things on other people's body. I was like, I never seen the back of this man's neck. I've only seen titties. Like,
just boobs on the sides of heads.
Yeah,
he just got big ass titties. He works really hard for them.
Good. Yes, he does.
He works very hard. He's working out all the
time. I have written here, I love these little this little spy cam thing that they're doing where they're like cutting it and zooming in.
It's cute.
It's very silly. I love the editing on here.
Daniel had a very smooth ass, and then the left key tattoo. Oh, so gorgeous. And Aaron, I was like, Aaron got that jiggle, mama. It's that thing they was talking about.
I got skater booty. Sorry about it. Part of my sport.
We loved it. I could not get enough of it. But Derek, I wrote yes. And then Anthony was just like, oh yeah, like, his ass tastes good. I mean, it's good. And then the producer was like, wait, what was that? Tell us again.
Derek and I are spending a lot of great time together. It's like my favorite line from this episode.
Oh yeah, I have a whole video of them. I have a video of them when we were doing a pause of filming, and it's literally both the twins with their guys like basically making out like in the kitchen. I'm like, guys, we're all still here.
Like, the cameras are still rolling. Like
cameras are still rolling. You're just in the corner. Like
good for them. Get it on, girls.
Yeah, I was all for it.
Rico got some cute on little panties.
Oh yeah,
that's the note I have right there. He got some cute ass panties.
Can you see right now? Like
and that gimp mask. Well, the face key.
Oh, he was sweating so much. It was hot out there. I was like, you can barely breathe. Like, I don't know. That was a smart choice.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool, but definitely not the right choice for Florida heat.
Oh hell no,
no. So Nigel missed the question about Rico and the nipple piercing, but he was like, you know what? I'm here for his heart. Okay, that's what matters. And I was like, you know what? We're here on a dating show today. We're going to find love.
The Miss America of the season because the way she twisted
she is Miss America. She's Miss Congeniality.
She was like, a little stumble. I got it. Who's looking at nipples?
Exactly.
I'm looking at souls. Which I love.
So then we switch from the himbos to the daddies, and Jimmy comes out first. He said his pale white ass was on display, and I was like, oh my God. Keith almost got the question on the bluish green eyes.
Yeah,
I was
almost.
I would have just given it to him. I don't know.
I was like, I would
have given it.
Yeah, I would have given it too, honestly.
And then Nigel comes out, and then Rico was like, sometimes his eyes change color in the sun, like, when he's upset or when he's happy. And I was like, oh my God, brown eye realness. They always change colors, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then Anthony, I wrote that he needed some help undressing, which I gladly would have gotten up there. Like 100%. I would have ran to the front, knocked somebody over.
I got him.
I would have too, so.
Kane comes out next, and before Stormy even finishes the question, Nick is already like, Libra. It's a Libra. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay.
Boom.
Sounds like someone's trying to prove themselves.
He's recovering from that mortgage question.
Yeah, seriously. That was embarrassing.
Also, Kane, was he too short to reach the hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. That's what I thought, because I'm like, the hole's like here and his butt's like only in the bottom.
Yeah. Like, production, get him a box or something to stand on.
Yeah, y'all don't got Apple boxes. I know y'all got Apple boxes on set. Come on now.
I was almost in the middle split, so.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's kind of a hard hole to make, because you got to make it tall enough for you, short enough for Kane.
But then Sal comes out, and then you automatically know, you're like, the beard is this color.
Yeah,
the mustache is the other color. And I was just like, see, this is what I'm talking about. You gave the answer and then gave a little more. This is what we want to see from the himbos.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But no other bitches were like that. No other bitches were like that, so.
They were too busy looking at souls.
Bullshit. Souls, tell me where they're from. I dare you. You don't know.
And Ed comes to finish up. I didn't even know he had a totem pole tattoo on his leg. I don't even think I've ever seen this man's legs. I just can't stop looking at his face, honestly.
I know, he's so pretty. He's got He's got that Colgate smile.
That he does. I'm like, these teeth. Sponsored, babe.
Beautiful, man.
So then the himbos end up winning. Woo, yes. That's what we needed and deserved.
Oh, yes. We needed that very hard. So I was like happy with then how to see how it would go with people picking each other. So glad that got spun up a little bit.
I'm glad too, but it even with it getting spun up, people were still like, all right, well.
No, right from the start, like right after it got spun up, I was like, oh, maybe it'll be like what I'm trying to say. And everyone right away was like, no, we're just treating this as friends. Like they talk about it backstage. They're like, oh no, we're just going to be like friends at the end. I'm like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
This is not the point. Like, why are you in all your dates talking about the other guy that they're with? Why was everyone talking about me last episode? Like, why was Nick and Sal talking about me last episode? Like, talk about each other, figure out your own shit. Like, try to connect that way. But no.
Which we talked about in the recap, because my exact thing, I was like, this is an opportunity for you to meet somebody and like have a conversation and try to explore a connection. Why not take it? Spend the entire time talking about how you feel like you got dumped, or you feel like the entire time talking about you. Which great, like, we love talking about you.
I love it. I guess I was the entertaining one, so not my fault.
So people are choosing dates. Aaron, you choose Sal. Sal feels a little odd. He's feeling Hazel a little bit. And then Nick has a little Freudian slip between the names. Do you think that was a joke gone wrong? Or do you think he was really
it was hilarious. It was him fully missing it. I'm hysterically laughing. I was like, it's exactly what I was talking about. You don't even know where he's from.
Just lapping it up. I
was like, this is via the twist. So we're holding it in, trying not to hysterically laugh. I was like, you're dumb.
That was a good one. That made me laugh. And then Hazel cannot get off my twins' necks. I swear to God.
I know.
He goes from one of their daddies straight to the other one.
Next one.
I cannot believe this. But also at the same time, like, I'm not worried about them. I know. You can tell the connection that they have are fine.
It's real. It's genuine.
I'm thinking this shakes everyone up, but then Keith is like, all right, well, Rico, you can just have time with Nigel. It's fine. And then everyone else just chooses someone who's like, friends.
It's not the point. Like,
which I understand Keith being like,
I understand Keith and Angel.
Yes, because they have like
they have a very good connection right off the bat. They do. It's very genuine.
Yeah, but I think everyone else could have been like, oh, this is an opportunity to talk to someone. Yeah. Let's talk to someone.
But no one else is.
But yeah, and now we have Sal running up to Hazel, running up that hill.
So Sal runs up to Hazel, who is just taking the most gorgeous selfies. And there was immediate. Sal was just like, I'm flirting. I'm coming in hard.
yeah.
I'm coming in strong. This is, like I said earlier, this is how I like him. Young, dumb, and full of cum. And Hazel was just like, oh, me, of course. Like, yeah, take me, daddy. And I really enjoyed the conversation, everything that they had.
Yeah.
Sal did bring up that blondes ruined his life. And I was like, you know what? What haven't blondes ruined?
But I'm like, he still looks ginger.
Still kind of ginger, though.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
But oh well, alas. I think that, their connection seemed fine. It seems good. It's definitely a different connection, Like, I think when you two had your date, it was definitely not a battle for dominance, but you were both definitely being.
We're very similar energies, and that's why, like,
yes.
And as well, like, I don't know if we're like the most romantic thing of that connection or whatever, but in all honesty, and Sal and I talked about this a lot, compared to talking to almost anywhere else in the group there, we both kind of said to each other, outside of this house, we would actually probably keep talking.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it as an actual thing of like, oh, who would you actually connect with outside of this house in that sense? Like, that's why we were kind of together. Because we're like, we actually like talked backstage all the time because we have similar views on life. We do similar types of things. Like, we actually have genuine, real conversations, maybe just more as friendship. But like, yeah. So and like their connection is different. And he's cute. He's adorable. So, of course, but
that was, I have written here, my one worry was that their connection might be a little too much one side. Is it going to be giving the same thing where it's like
Hazel could have had two options to pick dates and he never picked Sal once?
Yeah. I'm like, my first thought was, Daddy comes home, speaks, and Hazel is just sitting there while, do they have as much to talk about?
He's chilling in his spare house.
Exactly, yeah.
I wrote here in my notes, it was like the tweet, like the what's global warming, daddy? And then don't worry, kitten. Like, that's what I wrote.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at.
That.
Exactly.
It is. Like, sure, yeah, whatever. Sorry, what's your name again?
Yeah, I think I kind of liked that you and Sal, you seemed like you challenged each other a bit on topics. Yeah. You like had a bit more to talk about. Whereas this one is like, hey, daddy.
Hi, daddy. Happy night. Like, I get up 2 parts of the conversation. I'm going to laugh and sit here and not respond.
Yeah. So now we move on to some of these dates, if you could really call them that.
That was so uncomfortable.
It was a little kiki with my girls. It was a date. Yeah.
It was cute. Sunset was nice. Like, those dates were really awkward. Like,
these dates where everybody is at tables in the same space.
Oh,
you can hear everything.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. So some bitches, that's like last week at the painting thing, like you can hear everything. And I was like, can you all just shut up about me? Like, I'm here for my screen time as well, honey. This is great. Love it. If you're gonna do that anyways, may as well do it. But god damn, pick a new topic.
Especially because you like towered over the easel and you're like right next to them.
I know. I literally was looking Nick in the eyes.
That's so funny. So Derek and Jimmy, Derek is grilling him on Keith a little bit, kind of doing the friend thing of what are your intentions with my daughter? Like, don't hurt my friend. Are y'all fucking? Where are y'all fucking at 1 a.m.?
Exactly.
Were y'all surprised when you heard this, or did you
I found out earlier in the day about that, and I was like, "Whoa, where the hell do you have the time to do that?" With how busy we are, and I'm like, all to it, all for you. I just didn't even know you have to be really sneaky. You have to be very sneaky to be able to do that.
That's what I assumed. I'm like, my first thought was, should he even be saying that? Like, are the producers gonna get mad at him?
Yeah, no, it was like very, like, I was very surprised. We were all like, when did you have the time to do that? Like, these beds, like, you get up, you make one move, and they're like, like, they squeak so much, like.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Squeaky beds in Dilf Mansion. Oh my god!
Squeaky beds in Dilf Mansion.
Girl, they're probably fucking in that elevator. It's that damn elevator. They're just
that damn elevator. Like, bitch, I don't want to get stuck in that. That's old.
Yeah, no, I've worked in productions before. I know how busy it gets. That is dedication to being like, we're gonna do something.
I was like, bitch, I was eating McDonald's at the end of the night with Nick half the time.
Because I'm tired. I don't want to do nothing.
Literally, like,
we get Hazel and Anthony. Listen, when I told you I fully thought this man's daughter was between the ages of 8 and 13.
No, his daughter's
you're not the only one.
His daughter's older than
I don't know.
I was like, what? Yeah, I know. He's a daddy.
Yeah, he's like
He's a father.
He's a
He's
father.
He's
Yeah.
a father.
He's the
His daughter could be a
father.
mommy. Like,
Yeah, for real. He
And
could
it
be
could
a
be normal.
granddad. Like,
he could be a granddad in the next 2
Wild.
years.
yeah, that shocked me. I was like, oh my God. So his daughter's older than Hazel. So I just know Anthony's like
Comedian, no. He's like,
curling
nope.
out.
Just
Yeah, he's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, but once again, I like that he stands his ground between him and his mans, which is
Yeah.
cute. Now we have you
Mhm.
and Sal. Would you like to head the conversation about your date with Sal?
Like, it was fun. I wanted to spark up the conversation because like people I think often don't think like I'm a pretty lovey-dovey person and a hopeless romantic in some ways, but I have my freaky side and I do my things and that's fine. And I wanted to talk about those things because I know that's something that Sal was into as well in some ways. So I think it was just sparking up the conversation on what that can necessarily look like if we were to do something like that together. Like, who knows? But I think that's kind of also when you've done like 2-3 like a few dates with someone and you get a little closer, I think that's a pretty normal conversation to have of like,
Mhm.
especially in the gay community and the gay world with it being more
Yeah.
normalized in that sense. Like, I think that's kind of at the point in time where it's normal to have it. So that's why I asked those questions and it was fine.
I wanted to hear a little more about like open, like, because I feel like in the way that they showed us, it was like you brought it up, we got a little bit, and then he starts talking about how traditional he is. And then it was, I was like, no, I want to hear more about the
I want to
because
hear
I
more
was
about
like,
that.
when it said he's all traditional, I'm like, yes and no. Like I also know Sal, he's not fully traditional that way, but he is. I guess it's because he has been in longer committed relationships, like you mentioned episode 1 and stuff. But I think it's something that Sal and I actually like agree on in other ways. And like I think there's a beauty behind exploring yourself in different ways, and especially not rushing into everything, rushing into a huge relationship, you know? Like have that time when you can just be close friends with someone and explore the things, and then when you're ready to fully commit, you fully commit. Why is everyone committing so fast?
Exactly. Shop the field a bit. Play the
Exactly.
field.
See
get
what
to
you
know
like,
some
what you don't
people.
like. Figure it out with both of you.
Uh-huh.
Nothing wrong with that.
You also say, who doesn't like a hot dog in their mouth? That's another one of the lines. Because I always try to write a couple favorite lines from the episode. That's
I
another
like
good
that.
one. Were the
I
hot
put
dogs
that on
actually
my
good? Were they good? How was this barbecue
No,
realty?
they were cold.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
They were cold
It
as
was-
fuck. No
Yeah.
bitch is eating that. Do you see Kane playing around with the food on his date? He's picking it up and putting it down. One of my favorite things to do when you watch people when they're filming shit on reality TV or even other television, it's like everyone just keeps moving the food.
Yeah,
I think
or
one
painting,
person,
or painting
I
over
think it was
tits.
Nick or someone ate it or something. We were like,
Really?
what's he doing? Yeah, it was someone. It was like,
Leave it to me, one
shit-
hungry bitch.
There is no sauce on this shit.
Mhm.
It's cold.
Dry, cold.
The dry
hot dog.
ass kind of burnt hot dog. Ed
Yeah.
probably made it, honestly.
One of the other things I have written down here.
At least he didn't burn another house down.
You know, that because when I rewatched that and I fully
He couldn't didn't know how to crack an
digested
egg.
that, I was like, wait, what? He burnt the house down over cracking an egg. And I feel like I didn't really talk about it that much last episode because I feel
We
like I
didn't
should have.
know.
Like, you are not a daddy unless you can at least crack an egg open and cook it, bitch.
I am of the belief that every single person on this planet should be at the very bare minimum know how to cook an egg.
Oh, you know what? You told cook an egg, at least boil some pasta and make toast. Come on. Like,
Exactly.
Something.
Super easy things.
there, but nope.
Bare minimum. Bare minimum. But one of the things I want to touch on here was you talk about being more dominant and
Mhm.
wanting to explore,
Yeah.
being swaddled a bit, being a little more submissive and things
Mhm.
like that. Have you had the chance to do that since filming? What are your experiences coming from someone who is so dominant, on screen?
Still haven't had the experience. It's like, no, I'm a 6'4". I'm a big guy. I am a more dominant person in general. Like, that is way more my side. But like, I just don't get the opportunity or option to do that. And I think that's kind of what I'm also looking for in a guy, is like someone that is not afraid to show that side with you too, no matter what your height is. And just be able to have like kind of, I don't have to be the daddy in that sense. And that's kind of what I always have to end up feeling like. So it is something I still want to explore, and I probably still will eventually, maybe after this. But as of now, he's still there.
You hear that, listeners?
Yeah, I hear that. If you want that,
to make Aaron feel
right
like
here.
he is 5'2", You
I
want to
might
make
not
Aaron
like
feel
it.
like
I
a
might turn on
Mario?
kind of right away.
Oh.
But
If you want to turn
The
Aaron
whack,
into a
the
Mario, hit
Yeah,
him
good luck.
up.
yeah, just small shot in the head or whatever. Yeah, that one.
With Nick and Kane, I thought I'm gonna be thinking about Kane like moving a hot dog on his plate the entire time I'm talking about this
Literally.
now. So Kane kind of charged him up like a third of the way into the date, like, so I know this is like your WeHo thing. Are you here for that? Or are you here for love? And I was just like, oh, I know you heard that since you said you can hear all the
Yeah.
dates. And I was just like, I hope you're like clapping in the corner, like, yes, get
Oh,
his
I
ass,
was.
girl.
I was like, good. I hope he asked this question because that was another thing. I really liked Kane a lot. And like,
Mhm.
we actually are very similar in a lot of the ways. And I know even from production side too, like they thought we would talk more, like just because it's based off of like what we do and stuff. And he just was very goo eyes over Nick and
He's
kind
just
of I
very
think it's-
submissive, I think.
yeah, he's
Mhm.
would have worked with me, but he's been like but very I think it was just clouded by like the whole idea of it. And I don't know. I'm happy he asked the question, but still I don't really know what that answer is.
Yeah, I wanted to hear a little bit more about that. But I also think this is probably some of the more endearing stuff that we've gotten from Nick. Because I feel like
I think so.
This definitely made me like him a lot more. Because from the first two
it showed more of his
episodes,
side.
yeah, I got a little more from him. So I'm coming around on him. We're getting a little less of the WeHo thing.
Exactly. A little less of his WeHo character. And that's more like himself. And like that's why I said it, I think in episode 2 or something when we were talking, I was like, I'm confused why you start acting different when we're filming in that sense. Like, and that's what I got. And I mentioned it was like you switch a flip in some ways. And I was like, this doesn't make sense because I think you're really cool. Nick's my closest friend of that since there. We talk every few days. Like I've visited him like 3 times since then. Like we're close and stuff. So it's just that's why I think I challenged him.
Yeah, as you should.
I was like, so I was happy to see a bit more of his actual self come out in this episode.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes don't even realize that they're putting on for the camera.
Oh yeah, 100%. You don't realize, you just like, and that's why that's what one of my cool goals was, and I think it's worked in my favor because I have been like PR trained. I've been doing interviews and stuff for so many years of my life because of my job, and I was able to still. And one of your goals, you really still have to be yourself. So I think I was able to do that pretty well because it's reality TV. Come on, we're put on a camera. Everything's going to be an extricated version of it. Like you're going to be a little bit more confident, a little bit more spicy, but you're still trying to be yourself. But I think sometimes people get lost in that, and then they go and start acting like they need to be a certain way when it's like you don't really. And if you're just boring, then you're just boring.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll take this knowledge, okay? I'm auditing this class right now, just so you know.
Listen. When you get on season 5 of Mario, we keep these things in mind, girl.
Ready?
Writing it down.
Oh yeah, baby. Write that down.
After this date, we go to Ed and Daniel, and then Daniel says, "I've kind of fallen for you a little bit," and I was like, "Oh, you said that on camera?"
He
like,
did.
Also, Ed is also like a serial monogamist, so this did not surprise me.
No, not at all. And they were like so cute, and just I love Daniel so much with my heart. Ed is a sweetheart too, so it was nice like that they got the chance to have this kind of date and have that kind of shown in front of the camera too, because they were really close behind the scenes all the time, and that was like very authentic. So
yeah, you could tell just like the way that they smile at each other. I'm like, oh, they like each other. They're cool with each other.
They're cute.
Yeah, it was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get this 2-way, 3-way kind of situation. I secede, I've released the rest of my time. It's very Congress. Where Keith is like, y'all can just have this.
Yeah, because it's like, well, it's just, especially with Rico and Nigel, like from the get-go, they really just click, and they're each other's physical, I think, type too. And I think that's a huge part as well, is like that's the type of person that they would necessarily want to go for. So it's like, you can tell just right off the get-go in episode 1. So I would have been the same, honestly. I probably would have offered up my time, if same vice versa, if I was with Nigel, just because I'm like, I know how much they really want to spend that time together.
Yeah.
And they were very verbal about it to all of us. So.
Exactly. They look very out of any of the other couples.
They actually know where each other lives and like probably know their last names.
Work. Good for them.
Wait, Nick's last name isn't Mask? That's not you. Oh.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? What do you think about this date, Mario?
I really liked it. It was just every time Rico and Nigel are on screen, it makes
I
me so
know.
happy. Like I really just they're gonna succeed. I see
They're
it.
cute. They're super cute.
Very Prince Charming. You know, they're just so fairy tale about each other. The way
It
they
was
little
smile when
romance.
talking about each other, I'm like, it's adorable.
It was very that.
Uh,
But I mean, I was also feeling the way that Rico had to perform because he was the
emphasis
last
on the
himbo chosen. And
Emphasis
the way
on
he just
that.
snatched Nigel's chair and just like the skirt on the ground, I was just like, oh my God. Like I was
Rico's a
gripping
great
my
performer.
chair.
Yeah, he ate that.
He ate that. He is a great performer. We were all very impressed. I love the guy.
Yeah, I love go-go performances. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah. Loved it. Nigel was so supportive too. So it was quite beautiful. I loved it every minute.
I love that. And that ass was moving.
Ass was jiggling a lot.
It was
The
moving.
jiggle, the mic pack was going
the mic
crazy.
pack.
Yeah, literally. I had to cancel that audio.
And now we get probably, you know, I hate to say my favorite, but maybe my favorite elimination out of these two seasons.
Oh, it's mine too. Trust me.
It's great. I love it. You really went for it, which is great. Also, Stormy, let's talk about her dress real quick.
Ooh, this magenta gown she has on.
She looks pretty.
She looks good in blue. I think blue is her color.
Blue is her color.
But this red, the eye makeup on it, she looked good. And it was a long dress. She looked
She looked
gorgeous.
great. I like the long dress on her.
Yeah, the long dress was really nice. I was like, oh, a gown moment. This is nice.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah. Daddy's choice. Is this what were your thoughts when you heard that it was Daddy's choice?
I'm going home.
Yeah. I'm like, this is a setup. I know a setup when I see one.
Yeah, I was, Eddie. I talked about it. Like, I heard things from said people and I didn't like what it was. So right away when we were rushing to the elimination, I had no time to talk to anyone about it. And I was like, what is this? Like, I was honest with you guys from the start. Why aren't you going to be honest with me? Like, just at least warn me if this is how it's going to go. Like,
yeah.
Especially just when you get really emotional about like in conversations in your confessionals and you just expect that honesty. But obviously there was things that were twisted by certain people. And it's just like, that's how it's been panned out. And I love and respect every one of the producers. I think they're fucking awesome. They're amazing. They're so great to work with. But it was, things get caught up in reality TV. Yeah. It gets caught up. And sometimes when storylines, I was giving a great storyline. It's true. You can see it in episode 1 to 3. I'm featured a lot in it. And
you're kind of like the voice of the show for a lot of these
yes.
Which I loved. And I want to be that way on future reality shows because that's my authentic self. I'll always call it out how it is. But then when I go and don't get picked in this sense, and I know certain things that other people had said to me on the date and stuff, I was like, this is not cool. I'm not going to let you embarrass me again. And just because, and it was stereotypical, it was the choice of, okay, are you going to pick the one that you actually have a good conversation with in these things? Or are you picking the next pretty gay thing?
Yeah. Like we said earlier, the one that you can actually talk to about things or the one that's just going to come
And I thought
home.
that we were here for connections. I didn't think that we were here for the next pretty thing.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't super caught up or familiar with the way reality TV works, storyline producers and people that work on storylines are the ones that are really crafting how things are going to go here, nudging people towards certain things. It's less so forcing them to choose things and being like, well, why don't you go talk to them about this? Why don't
it's
you
like
go
if they're talking to your best friend
this?
for advice.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of like what I do at Poison Touch, my other podcast. Go check it out at Poison Touch.
Okay, RuPaul.
I will find the time to promote the other pod. Always.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a pretty iconic time. And like that, I literally had a thought in my head right before, like, obviously, as the people are going down the line, and you're just like, and I was with Hazel, because Hazel was like, I don't want you to leave because you're the only person I talk to here. No. And then that's why he's holding on to me, because he's like, I would rather go than you. Like, I don't want to be here all alone. Like,
oh my God, poor baby.
Yeah, he like came over to me like a big brother, and he was just like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to do this without you. Like, I was leaving, and he was like, fuck.
Oh my God, my heart. That makes it even worse.
Yeah, that's why he was all over me, because he was like, fuck, I don't want you to go. You're my only friend.
Wow, that's wild. I loved how you really were like, I'm going to speak on it. I'm not going to shy away from my feelings. We're going to let everyone know, and I'm going to say what I feel. Like this is what you really wear your heart on your sleeve right here. And I loved that. That was great.
I 100% do. That's how I live my life every day. And I'm not going to not do it just because cameras are on. If not, I'm going to do that more of it because I think that um, if you hear, I'm someone that it's like, if I hear my name being talked about or something, I don't just go and gossip on it to people's back. I go to the person and be like, what are you saying? This is not true. Tell me.
Let's talk about
I'm
it.
very let's be honest. So luckily with reality TV, it makes really good TV. And I had a choice in my head that I'm like shaking and I'm like, am I going to say this? Am I going to say this? And I said, fuck this. So when Stormy asked, she's like, how do you feel? I'm like, how do I feel? How do I actually feel? My actual feelings right now is exactly what I think the gay community does. And exactly what I think the gay community does, where someone like me who doesn't necessarily have a six pack and doesn't look exactly like that will always finish last. And it's something that I don't agree with and I think is totally wrong. So I'm going to speak up over this because you bring in the next pretty thing who has a six-pack abs, who's that version of me. And of course, right away, I wasn't going home. I don't think that's right. And I think that's something that needs to be talked about. And, there's like some scenes and conversations that were missed. And that's something that Nick and I talked about as well. And he agrees with and stuff. And can own up to being in West Hollywood and in that type of environment. So I was like, no, we're going to say this. I've got a platform right now that has a bunch of other homos like me watching this show. So I'm going to say this and put that out there because this is a real feeling and this is what actually happened and people's feelings can get really hurt. But guess what? You're not going to make it in the real world with that. It doesn't work that way.
And I remember when this season came out, me and Imario were talking, we loved the body diversity of the cast. That was something that we really attached to.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm glad that you definitely brought attention and we're like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, it needs to be talked about. It's something that's important. And I think that I will always, like you said, wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm always going to be that person. I'm always going to say something. Why do you think I got casted on reality TV? It's because of that. Because I will always say how it is. You get someone talking shit about me, I will be right there going, be like, what did you say? Tell it to my face. Because if you can't say it to my face, don't put my name in your mouth.
Amen. Well, I think I can say you will definitely be my Phoenix of the season, where I will be talking about you for the entire season.
That's the goal. So that's why I said, I was like, honey, you know what? I did reality TV, right? And it's not going to be the last time you'll see me on a screen. That's guaranteed. So,
amen. I know there were definitely in future episodes, I'll be like, God, I wish Aaron was here.
Trust me. When I got out of that house, I was like, this shit's going to be so boring without me, so have fun.
I'm like, who is going to challenge everybody?
I know, no one else is. I was like, they must be having such a boring time in there now. And I was thankful I had to leave. I wanted to sleep in a real bed.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for joining us at Baby Daddies.
Thank you. This has been a wonderful time. It's been great to see you guys' faces, and I'm excited for the rest of your comments, the rest of the season.
I'm excited to talk about it. You want to let everyone know where they can follow you if you have anything to promote?
Yeah, you can. Well, right now, my current Instagram has been disabled, so I'm trying to get my actual Instagram back, and that's I have a little sub account that I just started, which is Aaron.Chapplain_, but still trying to get my normal account back. You can follow me there, and I'll keep you up to date on things. My life is pretty crazy, and I've got some pretty exciting things coming in the next few months. So be sure to watch out.
Exciting. Imario, let the girls know what the booty origami does.
Well, girls, the booty do the origami. She do twists, turns, squeezes, loosens. She do it all. And you can see it all at... That's a new one. You can see it all at Booty Origami on Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Jake.
We love it.
You can follow me at Poison Touch Pod or at Krogunk if you want to see my advice podcast, Poison Touch Advice Hour, where I give you all the best and worst advice to deal with all of life's predicaments. Catching me in a couple weeks to talk about the some Reddit stories. And as always, we'll be back with Baby Daddies next week to talk more about For the Love of Dilfs Season 2. Thanks for watching. Yeah.